All right, I made it, and I do believe the chair survived. So now, just have to offload. Hey crew, I've got the key to that 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road. And today we're gonna see what it's like to live with, starting with spacing in my driveway. And the Tacoma has a challenge today because it's parked next to a Ram TRX, one of the widest vehicles you can buy. So how does it measure up? I've got it parked pretty close to the edge here. It's sort of at an angle with a few inches of spacing from the edge at the front, sitting next to the TRX, which is parked really very close to the edge here. And yet, because this is a mid-size pickup, not this extra wide full-size pickup, I still have space to walk between the two trucks, especially when these mega door mirrors are folded in. And then to check out the length of the Taco, walking back here, we see you've got a few feet between the back of the truck and my garage door. I wanted to leave a little room between the hedge and the back to squeeze by. Couldn't really manage it while having the front of the truck hovering just over the gutter part of my driveway. And for comparison, the TRX just doesn't really fit. The nose is jutting out right to the edge of the tarmac, and the back end is another half a foot beyond where the Taco ends. Not going to squeeze between that hedge and the back of the truck. So this is going to fit in just about every driveway, whereas a full-size pickup truck, maybe not even one as wide as the TRX, is going to be a much bigger challenge. And when I'm first getting inside, I've got the key fob in my pocket, the truck is locked, I just put my hands on the handle and the vehicle unlocks. Opening the door, I can go out 2 notches and giving me a nice wide access point to get inside. And it's so easy to climb up and in. Hello cabin crew, thank you for joining me for this day in the life with the new Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road. And in this video, I want to see if the new Taco is any nicer to live with than the old one. And I'm gonna start by finding spaces for all the junk I've brought with me, like my 32-ounce water bottle, which is not going to fit in the cup holders and not really in the console, especially not when I've got GoPro items and my mics in there. Is it going to go in the door? Not standing up, but on its side. It does stay there, so that could work. And then I've got a USB-C cable, just stuff that in the console, and my smartphone can actually go on the wireless charging pad right there. And let's see, wallets right there, and key fob right next to it. So got spots for all my stuff, and then I'm just going to press the start stop button and hear the turbo 4-cylinder crank on. And before I throw on my seatbelt, I want to listen to the idle of this truck from outside. It's so subdued. No one is going to be bothered when you start up your Tacoma, even early in the morning. And now, I'm gonna pull the gear selector back into drive, disengage the parking brake, and roll on out. I mean, I can't really see beyond the TRX, but yeah, we're good now. Are we gonna clear? Yes, clear the trash cans on a more narrow street than it typically is because of trash can day. And as you can see, it's a rainier day today. Not a whole lot of water falling right now, but perhaps there will be more later. And that changes up my schedule. I wanted to deliver a chair to my sister-in-law this morning, but I don't want to get that thing soaked, nor do I want to do the extra labor to cover it up. So we'll do that tomorrow. Instead, I want to go get this TRD Off-Road dirty. Well, I guess it wouldn't be dirty with all this rain, it'd be muddy. But on the way, I'm also going to get coffee, and then later, maybe tomorrow, we'll try to install some car seats to see if the Tacoma can be a good one-vehicle solution for small families. The first thing I need to do is listen to the turn signal sound here, sitting at the stoplight, and find that it's an agreeable tone. Not something that is going to be bothersome if left on for a while. And we saw the turning radius a little when exiting my driveway, but let's do a full-on U-turn here. yikes, and find a super wide turning circle, almost on the level of a full-size pickup truck. You may be doing more multi-point turns than you'd expect from a mid-size pickup truck here. And right now I'm in two-wheel drive, but if the water really was starting to come down, or certainly when we get to the off-road portion, I'll want to move into one of the four-wheel drive settings, for high or for low. And our drive mode is in the normal configuration. I'm going to turn on these windshield wipers here. And this turbo 4-cylinder has tons of low-end grunt. Boost comes on really early, so getting up to speed is a cinch. Rides really nicely as well. This new coil-sprung rear end compared to the leaf-sprung one of the old truck is so much more compliant. I mean, this is just on-road stuff. We'll see how it does off-road, but right now, it just soaks up the road blemishes so much better than the old truck, and it's a little less busy as well over the undulations in the road. Typically, solid rear axle trucks just hop all over the place. This one just kind of takes it all. And the seats, these fabric chairs, are decently comfortable. Nothing really to write home about, but certainly nothing that is going to give me a lot of pain after sitting in them for a while. And I've got this lumbar control on the driver's side, which I very much need because I played a tennis tournament yesterday and my low back is killing me. You know, it's funny. Listening to these wipers, they're always making noise like, ooh, ooh. Is it just me? Am I crazy? It sounds like they're making that noise. And actually, it's been raining for a few days and I've been driving this truck for a few days, and that noise gets a little irritating. And I think it's the motor noise. I don't think it's the wiper blade, because it doesn't matter how much water is on the windshield, they still make that noise. Wow. I know, it's just that level of compelling insight that draws you to a miles-per-hour day in the life. Anyway, back to noises. Let's say someone cuts you off, or as I experienced this morning, runs a red light 15 seconds after it's already gone red, almost causes an accident, and you need to use the horn. What's that gonna sound like? Not exactly intimidating, but it does get the message across. Turning attention now to the ambiance of the interior. You're gonna spend a lot of time in this truck. Is that time going to be mundane, or is it going to be pleasant? The previous generation Tacoma was, boy, it was just dull, if nothing else. This new one has a lot more visually to engage you. The flat surfaces, the chunkiness of the dials, the texture to things, this mega 14-inch screen, which I'm still honestly getting used to. It's so big, but there is a big benefit, and that is that with everything so inflated on a large screen, it's hard to miss the icon you're going for. It sort of just happens easy enough. And it has redundancies like the volume knob and the single zone of auto climate with these big knobs. Those are nice. The wireless charging pad, well, it's not perfect because the rake of it is such that if you really slam on the brakes, your phone is going to fly forward. Granted, you shouldn't be slamming on the brakes all the time, but every time it does happen, I just go, gotta fix the phone again. But I mean, that's really the only thing I can complain about in here, because it's easy enough to see out of. The adjustment of this seat is so much, I don't have to emphasize this enough, it's so much more than the previous Taco, where I felt like I was sitting on top of the truck. Now I feel like I'm sitting in it, and I can still see out over the hood easily. I can see out the side windows easily. There's a little blind spot at that back pillar there, but that's what blind spot monitoring is for, and that is standard on this truck. The digital gauge cluster is nice and easy to read and has some cool animations as you float through the drive modes. The steering wheel feels nice and chunky in the hands. It just feels like a graduated pickup truck in a place that I've enjoyed pretty much every mile behind the wheel so far. All right, it's coffee time, and I'm going to one of my favorite spots just around the corner from one of my other favorite spots. This is White Sparrow, and we've got an opportunity here to do some parallel parking. So let's see how the Taco does. Into reverse. Hopefully this guy's gonna give me some room. Not just gonna plow right through. Okay, here we go. Cutting in, cranking that wheel. Might be too close on the first run. I forgot how bad the turning circle is. Okay, here we go, into drive. One adjustment. And we are lined up nicely. Oh, and in case you're curious, this is how we did in terms of our spacing next to the curb. Here we go. decaf latte. Why decaf, you ask? Well, it's because caffeine turns me into a monster, a jittery monster. Cup holders work perfectly for that coffee cup. On to the merrymaking off-road. And in fact, this drive to the off-road portion gives us an opportunity to simulate a commute in the Tacoma. So before going into sport drive mode or anything like that, I just want to see about the passing power. Plopping the foot down and easily picking up speed. Wow. There's a ton of grunt to this Turbo 4. And the 8-speed is also dropping down gears quickly and then smoothing things out now that I'm coasting. I also have features like adaptive cruise control, which I can set here, change my following distance. Got a lane centering assist as well, just to sort of show you what that looks like. You're not supposed to take your hands off the wheel. I'm just showing you how it stays in the center of the lane really well. And then me not touching the brake here, it's slowing down to keep that following distance. The rain's picking up. These features are great, and they're all standard on this truck to make the commute in this vehicle so much more pleasant. And listening for the cabin volume at highway speeds. Of course, we always have those wipers making that noise, but passing that big semi truck, going over this louder road surface. Yes, you can hear the tire noise, but these all-terrains aren't making a whole lot of hum. The road noise is perceptible, but not to a crazy high degree. The rain now pelting off the windshield. There are all these factors here that would say it's gonna be really loud inside this truck, but it's definitely quieter than the last gen Taco. Man, the rain is really coming down now. I, along with most of the people around me, well, there's the old gen Taco right there, I've decided to slow up a little bit. See water just sort of hovering on the surface of the tarmac here. I'm gonna make the decision on the fly to go into four-wheel drive high. Give me a little more confidence. Get those front tires also propelling us forward. More grip, more assurance. And I instantly feel more sure-footed. In two-wheel drive with very little water coming down, I never worried that the Taco was going to slip out, but here, with four-driven wheels, I feel confident carrying a little more speed down the highway. Okay, I made it out to our off-road course. Really, it's just a fire road, but because of how much it's been raining lately, it creates all these potholes and changes the terrain such that it's going to be a decent test for this new Bilstein remote reservoir suspension in the TRD Off-Road. And I'm already in four-wheel drive high, but I'm also going to go into multi-terrain select, which used to just be locked into four-wheel drive low. Now we can use it here, and we can see auto, dirt, sand, mud, and deep snow. Right now, I'm just gonna leave it in auto, and we're in drive. And of course, the first thing we have to do is plow through these puddles. How could you not? Okay, so look at this road surface. Look at all these crags, these potholes that we're gonna have to traverse. And just think about how this double wishbone front and multi-link coil sprung rear end is having to deal with this. I can hear these impacts, but the truck feels really stable going over them. Even big ones like that, it takes in stride. First time I need to slow here, and the brakes respond decently well. All-terrain tires providing that grip that I'm looking for. Suspension settles in really at speed. Oh my. Oh, I spy a whole lot of mud, which gives me an idea. Okay, first let me wear the responsible adult hat, which happens to look like a hat with a camera on it, and wade through this mud, showing what multi-terrain select can do. So let's go into mud, still in 4 high. and effortlessly comb across. But let's say I wanted to be a little more juvenile, which, let's be honest, is more accurate. Well, then I would go back into two-wheel drive high, and I would hold this traction control button until both traction and stability control are disabled, which they are, and then I'd have a ball. It's not terribly even, which makes sliding harder, but when the mission was just to be a hooligan, then this is how you accomplish it. How do you not slide through mud and have a fat grin on your face? How did I do? Oh, I just smashed my leg. I did well with that. Fit check. Yeah, it's caked on there pretty well. I'd say mission accomplished. By the way, this guy over here in the 4Runner is the third person that stopped me out of the 5 people I've even seen out here to say, that is a sweet new taco. The other 2, one was in a Ford Bronco, the other was in a Chevy Silverado or GMC Sierra. It doesn't matter. Universally, people are excited about this new Tacoma, and so far it's been easy to say, I love it. Here's something you don't see every day. A Huracan Storado Off-Road, and not to be outdone, a 911 Dakar. What are they doing out here? Playing in the mud. Just like me. Now, I can't leave this area before giving the new Tacoma TRD Off-Road at least a little bit of a low-speed obstacle test. So I am going to head up this hill, putting it first into 4-wheel drive low, rolling back a little bit to engage. That's good. Down into drive. Let's lock up the rear diff as well. That's nothing new for the TRD Off-Road, but what is new is the sway bar disconnect for greater front tire articulation. Now we got all these dialed in. I wish I had a front-facing camera system as well to help me plot the best route up. That's a serious hole right there. Let's see how we're gonna do it. Dip the front tire in. Feel a little bit of slip before the locked rear diff sends the power to the other tire. These all-terrains don't seem to have trouble up front. Clearance isn't an issue at all. The only thing it is again, the turning radius. I wish it was a little bit tighter. Here you can see what we just went over. So I have to adjust once more before clearing this. But wow, that was so easy. Now I'm gonna do this one more time backwards because it's a very steep descent and a good opportunity therefore to use the downhill assist control, which is just for downhill, but there's also crawl control for uphill, this off-road cruise control system that I adjust the speed with this dial here, faster or slower. I'm gonna take it pretty slow here and let the system sort it out. So I'm not gonna touch the brake, not touching the throttle. And letting the truck decide how much to give it and just sort of settle down into that hole. This part here is a little clunky, but you know what it isn't? Loud. In the old Taco, this system, all you heard were these little clicks that sounded like the truck was braking as it was sorting out where to apply brake or throttle. So much quieter in this new truck. Oh man, getting filthy really does build up an appetite. It's time for lunch and it's looking like a good drive-through day. So how about some Chick-fil-A? Hello.
Can you get a name, please?
Yes, Miles.
Hi, Miles. What do you need today?
May I please have 2 spicy chicken sandwiches?
Okay.
And 1 order of French fries.
2 spicy chicken sandwiches and 1 order of French fries. Did you want a small, medium, or large fry?
I'll do a medium fry, please.
Okay. Did you want pickles in your sandwiches?
Yes, please.
Were you in the canyon?
I was, yeah. It was really muddy, really awesome.
That's good, I can tell.
Yeah.
Man, you have it going.
Thank you, you too. Drive-throughs. A great chance to sit there with your foot on the brake for a while, or just hit the auto hold button and take a break. Hello. Yes. Thank you so much. You too. Now I'm gonna eat these sandwiches and fries while driving, but I wanna get set up first. So I'm gonna move my empty coffee cup back to these cup holders, position this here for right now. It's pretty secure. Pull out my waffle fries and stick them here just to the side of the gear selector. That's a nice hole. Sandwich number 1 can kind of hang out next to the wireless charging pad. I'll leave sandwich number 2 in there for now. Got all these sauces, which I don't want them to be loose. Okay. Door storage, that's good. And napkins can also hang out here in the door storage. This feels right. Like I can eat this without being distracted now. Oh, that hits the spot. Now that I'm refueled, might as well get the Tacoma refueled ahead of tomorrow's delivery of my sister-in-law's chair. And the EPA rates this Tacoma TRD Off-Road at 19 mpg in the city, 22 on the highway, and 20 combined, which for 20 combined at 18.2 gallons of fuel, we'd have 364 miles on a single tank. Though I've been seeing over the last 196 miles an average of, let's see here, history, 17.6 miles per gallon, so less than that 364 miles total. And at current fuel prices of $4.85 for premium fuel, we're looking at 88 bucks per Fil-A. And now, moment of truth. Capless fuel, oh my goodness, how do I, it's not really a way to do that without getting dirty. No capless fueling, bummer. Oh, but those wheels sure look good with a coating of mud on them. Ooh, there we go. Shoot, I just realized something. All this mud looks amazing on this truck, like a badge of honor, but for moving furniture tomorrow, the bed's awfully filthy and it's so easy to get yourself or the furniture dirty. I think I'm going to have to visit this station's car wash. Good luck, car wash. Getting all this mud off, it's not gonna be easy. Okay, it's all done. Now we have to go inspect what kind of a job it did. Well, that's about what I expected. There is mud residue left all over the place. That's what you get with a machine. But hopefully with another full day and into the evening of rain before it clears up tomorrow, I'll be in decent enough shape to move that chair without making it just disgusting. All right, after a night of rains, what do we got? Whole lot of dirt. Yeah, so much for that getting cleared out. Really should have hosed it off. Oh well, for moving this chair, at least I'll have some furniture blankets to keep it protected. And I've also got some clothes here for my sister-in-law's upcoming baby that I think could go here in the cab if I clip these seat bottoms up into place on both sides. And that looks great. Now to get the chair in here. Okay, got the chair in, wrapped up, protected, and secured. Thankfully, this is not a huge truck, so lifting it up onto the tailgate and then sliding it into the bed wasn't all that difficult. And thanks to these adjustable tie-down cleats, I could move them just to the right spot that I wanted before locking them into place. And now we're headed to my sister-in-law's. Oh, that's cool. With the chair on its side, I can actually see straight out the rear view mirror without anything obstructing my view. Though it would be nice in the same way when I was off-roading to have a front-facing camera to help me plot my route. It'd be cool to have a bed cam to monitor what I've got going on in the bed. All right, I made it, and I do believe the chair survived. So now, just have to offload. So this short bed Tacoma can handle a small furniture delivery job, but can the back of the cab handle the installation of car seats? My kiddos have rear-facing car seats that need the lower latch anchors, and the Tacoma has 2 sets of those, but there are also, for front-facing car seats, 3 top tethers in this truck. Okay, I've got both car seats installed now, but to do that, I had to move these front seats pretty far forward. So let me test fit myself in the front passenger seat first. Okay, knees are smashed up against the glove box there, and my seat back angle is 2 upright. Let's try the driver's seat. All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't have the leg room I would like here. So for a 6-footer, or somewhere close to it, the front seats with car seats behind them are not gonna be great. All right, crew, I've got the Tacoma out one more time here at night to summarize my thoughts on what it's like to live with. I began this video by asking the question whether this new Toyota Tacoma is nicer to live with than the previous generation model. And after a variety of tasks in a variety of environments, the answer is confidently yes. However, there's still one or two lingering issues that Toyota needs to address with its Tacoma, starting with the least and then to the most bothersome, these windshield wipers. They're awfully loud. When off-roading in this TRD Off-Road model, I wanted a front-facing camera to help me plot the best route through tighter or really perilous obstacles, although I didn't really have anything truly perilous today, but that would have really been nice here as standard in this off-road grade. Then there's this turning radius, which is awfully wide for a mid-size class pickup truck. It's almost on the level of a full-size pickup truck. And finally, there's the rear passenger space. Whether it's just putting people back there behind taller front passengers or trying to install car seats, it is a bit of a squeeze. But now on to the things this new Tacoma does so much better than the old one. Starting with the ride quality. With this new coil-sprung rear end and the Bilstein remote reservoir suspension, whether it's on-road or off-road, the ride is so much more compliant. And combined with a seating position that is no longer like you're sitting on top of the truck, but rather highly adjustable for drivers of all heights, you just feel much more in command and relaxed when piloting the new Tacoma. The aesthetics and functionality of this new Tacoma are big wins as well, whether it's just something you're proud to look at in the parking lot or something that you feel is more substantial and premium inside. And then on top of that, you've got all these storage options for you. Places for me to put all of my personal effects. During the week in a commuting environment on the highway, you'll really appreciate all of the standard driving assistance features like adaptive cruise and lane keep assist. And then on the weekends, this thing thrashes off-road, whether it's just playing around in the mud or climbing up and down obstacles or just driving quickly over potholes and ruts. It handles all of it and keeps a smile on your face the whole time. So after living with this new Tacoma, while I might be apprehensive to recommend it to anyone with kids in car seats or really tall people in their family or immediate friend group, for everyone else, this checks a ton of boxes and has been so enjoyable to live with, and certainly better to live with than the previous generation Tacoma. And I'll see you again next time.